that's all the time we have for today, Sunrisers. I know it was fun, but we gotta go. If you missed out on anything or you just really want to rewatch your favorite segments, we've got you covered at CVMTV.com. And for all the fun stuff in between, we are on Instagram at SunriseCVM and at CVM _television. By the way, yeah.
We have the live broadcast.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we have a live broadcast of
T20.
the T20 between South Africa and West Indies. That's on May 23, 25, and 26 on CVM at 2 p.m. this week. Again, let me just tell you in case you didn't hear me before, it's exclusively on CVM.
All right, don't miss The Cut tonight at 8 p.m. with Jay Frey and Bada Bling.
Also, big up to our official catering sponsor, Mothers, with the best breakfast in town. The Roundtable Squad takes over right after.
Welcome to this, our Monday edition of the Roundtable. My name is Raymond, and joining me this morning is my amazing co-host, Celine. And we have a very special guest this morning, Dr. Dwight Robinson. Welcome to the Roundtable, Dwight.
Thanks for having me.
Good morning, Dr. Robinson.
Good morning. Dwight's good.
Dwight's good here at Celine. All right, quickly, we're going to get into it. How has been your weekend?
Good. I had 2 birthday parties, and 4-year-olds on birthday parties.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, epic.
Buzzing.
Epic. Buzzing.
You see what I did there?
You're going to find out in a bit why that was so important, right? And Dwight, how was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good.
Great. Awesome. So it's now time for us to check in what's buzzing online in our social buzz. Let's check this out.
Dublin and New York City have been linked up through a real-time visual bridge as part of a groundbreaking holographic art project called The Portal. It features a 24/7 live stream of both Dublin and New York, connecting the 2 cities, and it even allows for real-time interaction between Dubliners, New Yorkers and visitors to both cities.
These are just random people getting on with their day, and we're just random people trying to get on with our day, but it just makes my day better to know that they're here to see us and we're here to see them.
Video portal linking Dublin, Ireland to New York City has been shut down.
Let's set this one up. So this portal, this concept where you could be walking on a street in your hometown and somebody walking on a street in their hometown, and you stand in front of this portal and they're seeing you. So instead of seeing yourself and the background in a mirror, you're looking into another city.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Dwight?
Sounds all strange to me.
Of course.
But why? Because it makes you so connected now, like...
Listen, I think it's because I watched too much sci-fi growing up, and too much that I care to even admit today. There's just something...
It's like the Twilight Zone.
There you go. Like, what's next? That you can step through that.
Ooh.
But the interesting thing is that they had to stop it very soon after launching it, because as people were decided to people. So the people started to people and started to do things that were unwelcomed and offensive on the other side.
I wonder what that could be.
We can't show it, but suffice it to say they plan to do a relaunch. And let us know in the comments on our social media pages whether or not you would stand in front of a portal in Mandela Park to look into Piccadilly Circus or to look into Paris or...
Yeah, New York. Yes, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, okay, let's get to it. Something is hot is being delivered. Let's see what is... So, buzzing. The buzz about bees, exploring the roles of bees beyond the honey. All right, and I should just point out, May 20 is World Bee Conservation Day. And our guest this morning, Dwight Robinson, is an entomologist. So over to you, boss.
All right, thanks for having me. And I'm happy to see that they're celebrating a day about bees. I know most Jamaicans are no honeybees. They get honey from bees, etc. But there are so many bees. You know, we have social bees. We have what we call solitary bees, bees that live alone, not bees that are in a colony. And a lot of them out there doing good work. But we tend to focus on honeybees only.
Right.
And today, while this was started by somebody who discovered how to rear honeybees, you know, they have actually put this for just bees in general, and not just bees, but pollinators as well. So there are several beetles, there are several flies that are pollinators. Well, there are even bats that are pollinators. But the whole thing in terms of conservation and conserving bees, we just need to start doing environmental conservation. Right. And bees will be a part of that. I mean, it's in our own interest. To conserve the environment.
Well, let's help our viewers to get a better understanding. So a lot of Jamaicans culturally see bees and believe that they're going to be stung. So there's this fear factor. But you said that bees are doing good work. What kind of work is the good work? And also you have to define pollinators.
All right, good. So yeah, I can understand the issue of bees being stung. Even the calm among us, when we are bothered, we try to defend ourselves. So the stinging is a defense mechanism. It's for us not just to make sure the bees don't think we are threatening them. You know? We understand that part of it. But you know, people have to understand the connectivity in nature. The fruits we eat, everything, is because of a male part of a flower coming together, a female, and producing a new fruit. And in human beings, for the things that human beings eat, we could diversify what we eat, but what we eat right now, 80% of that requires an insect to pollinate it. And so it's very important, you know, so when I say pollinate, it's for them to get the male, the pollen from the male part of the plant and get it to the female so that you can produce an actual fruit. And that to us is very significant. Apart from that, just maintaining our forests. And which is very important in the quality of the air we breathe and just somewhere for us to escape. If we need to, Jamaicans tend not to do a lot of that. They tend to see everything everything that's not a pretty flower is bush. And they think bush must be destroyed. But we now need to shift. Bush is a good thing. And that's why some people say, let's change the name and not call it bush, since bush has this bad thing, you know, but just call it natural vegetation.
But
Who said bush have bad when you have bush tea and all these things?
Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, one of the first things I want to hear you on, Celine, is did you make the connection between your favorite fruits that you love to eat and bees or other pollinators? So we're going to continue this after the break. More when we come back. Welcome back to the Roundtable this morning. The topic is the buzz about bees, exploring the role of bees beyond giving us honey. All right, so Celine, the connection between that Dwight made between the fact that we don't have access to our favorite fruits, the OTE apple especially, which is in season. Did you make that link before?
I did. So fun fact, Raymond and Doctor, I was a beekeeper. Yes, I was. I went to RADA. They have lit classes, like, is it 3-day classes, that they tell you all about bees. Wow. And then they set you on your way to do your thing. And I bought the boxes. I have everything, the suit, everything. I was so fascinated by it. And I wish he told us how they pollinate. So it's not just about, like they pitch in the flowers. Their little fuzzy bodies will, the pollen will stick to their fuzzy bodies. Yeah. And then they even have a way where it's called buzz pollination. Is it buzz pollination, where they do the little dance? They shake, and then it pollinates, and it does a wonderful thing. And there's so many products from the honey, not just the honey, but you have
bee bread, and
all these different things that you can, bee wax and everything that you can get from bees. Yeah. So yes, I did make the connection.
I didn't see this coming. And I feel as if the public needs to see photos all over your social media and ours with you decked out as a beekeeper.
So I did feel like a failure, sir, and maybe you can help me with it. But my bees swarmed and the queen left, and I cried. I took it personal. I cried, and I realized that you can't hold winged creatures. Like they will do what they will do.
Yeah.
You can only assist them in their way. They're so militant, they're so lovely. And so I kind of got rid of my stuff, but I think now I'm motivated to do it again. Yes. And my space was so small as well.
Is that you though?
Probably.
No, that's not me.
By the way,
But yes,
big up to the plug to RADA and assisting more persons to be beekeepers. Now, Dwight, at a different level, you mentioned protecting the environment, and if you protect the environment, you protect bees. But let us talk about some of the risks and the challenges that bees and pollinators face with respect to global warming and climate change.
Yeah. All right. Well, we know, I mean, inevitably, most of the challenges they're facing, because people like to say it's global warming, that's the problem. It's human beings that are exacerbating this global warming anyway. But you know, you look at it now as we have global warming, like when is our rainy season? We're not sure anymore.
Oh, no.
When is our season, etc. Just think about it. Bees have learned how to go and fetch nectar and pollen because there are certain things flowering at the same time. The time when these flowers are flowering, it has changed.
Yeah.
And can you just imagine how confused the bees are?
I didn't think about that.
If you have a situation where, you know, on top of that, people are cutting things away, so when they would go, I mean, every time, you know, I see people say, okay, we need to clean up the country, I need to clean the road, and I see how they strip away all the natural vegetation from the roadside, some things that we call weeds or bush that would flower, that bees would turn to when things change. So we're making it much more difficult for them. And probably one of the reasons why your bees left, they just could not find enough close to. So think about it. Bees will travel up to 5 kilometers to find food.
Yeah.
A bee that does that ain't going to be very productive. One that, compare that to one that only travels a couple of meters.
Yeah, not very different from that student that have to leave from top Aberdeen to go all the way down to Black River for school. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not much different from what we do. So we have that global warming with the cycles changing and the bees having to adapt to that. And then we, on top of that, changing the ecosystem. We have the whole issue of pesticides. You know, there's a particular type of pesticides. I mean, we have tried in working with the Pesticides Control Authority. They have pushed it out there for people not to spray when plants are flowering because bees are visiting and they will take that pesticide back to the hive. And the thing with a bee, many times, bees are such good social insects that if they know that they are poisoned, they don't go home.
Oh. That is true.
Hold on a second. If they know that they are poison, they're not going home because then they'll infect the hive. All right. So let us speak now specifically about some tips for conservation. So, because unknown to Selena as well, maybe someone next door had just fumigated their house, or
and they decided to leave,
or decided to use an entire can of Baygon to kill a croaking lizard. And I'm not necessarily saying that I'm not guilty of that on occasion, but let's talk about some of the strategies to reverse the situation and to make ecosystems and the environment more habitable for bees and pollinators.
Yeah. It's going to take a little bit. It needs a whole mind change, you know, how we perceive things. The same way as you say, we perceive things, bush as bad. So I'm looking at that picture there and I'm saying, lovely.
Yes.
But there are some people that say, oh, the place they want to clean up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do we shift it to realize that nature has been doing this and has a way of doing things, that we should try to work alongside nature and not try to change it to suit ourselves. There's so many, when you think about the thousands and millions of different species out there, and we only know a few. And sometimes we just have to admit that we don't know and allow nature to take its course. And so when we are designing spaces now, people, you know, if somebody's going to build, what do? They say, oh, you bring in a D10 and you drop the blade here and you clear the land. Yeah. Instead of bringing in a scientist to do an assessment or show you how to do an assessment, an ecological assessment of that area, and indicate to you what are the native things there, what are the things that support bees and other pollinators, etc. We just need to change the way
that we
do things to ensure we don't have to be living at odds with nature.
No, we can't win that fight.
We will never win that fight.
Yeah.
Nobody ever wins that. People always tell me about, oh, human beings, be careful to destroy the earth. Don't fool ourselves. We can't destroy the earth. We can push the earth to a level that it destroys us to restore itself. That's what people need to know.
Oh
What a
gosh, that's so
perspective.
heavy.
What a point of view.
You know, and I'm glad it's coming from our guests and not the usual person that always talking about environment and climate change. But it is that stark, isn't it, Dwight?
Yeah, exactly.
That it's either or, and nature finds a way to win
Always.
and
Always.
to restore. You know, we humans are actually recent in terms of our occupation here. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue the buzzing about bees. More after this. Thanks for staying with us. So time flies when good things are happening and when we are buzzing. Well, you know what time it is. It's time for final thoughts, so we're going to go straight to Dwight for final thoughts.
Thank you very much. Just to mention who an entomologist is.
Yes.
All right, so an entomologist is someone who studies insects. I know viewers may be out there saying, what's this crazy fellow here talking? And why would you study insects? Insects are just, what you call one of the most diverse set of organisms. And usually, when you want to know the health of an ecosystem, you look at the diversity among the insects. And I know Raymond at one time was an entomologist as well. So, yeah, good company. And generally, in now there's this big buzz about citizen science.
Yeah.
And I know as an entomologist, I don't want to do it alone. We don't have to do it alone. It's to just invite you all, regardless of what profession you're in, to become a citizen scientist. I mean, your phone works very well. It helps us to determine what's happening, what populations are suffering, which ones are doing well, because when you stop seeing certain things, then we know they're not doing too well. And when you're seeing them, we know, okay, good, and you may guide us to somewhere where we need to go and see what's happening there, why is the population doing well, etc. And there's some things we want to learn because we want to teach that to you so you can transform the space around you, make the space around you more diverse, more friendly. It should not all be concrete. Right? We need to ensure we have something natural for bees and for us to enjoy.
My final thought is just becoming conscious about these issues, about what the good doctor does here. And of course, not all bees are honey-making bees. So we only think about honey-making bees. There are the other species that do the important work of pollination and giving us all the other good things, not just honey, but all the other beautiful things. So just become conscious.
For me, my final thought is, well, first let me thank Dwight for coming in. And yes, I did entomology for a while, and I'm going to let you in on a secret. I didn't pursue it because I don't like roaches, right? But they too tell us important signs about the ecosystem. So my final thought is, show of hands on social media. How many of you want to see Celine back into the beekeeping business?
Are you serious?
Online poll all day. That's a wrap for the Roundtable today. Please enjoy the rest of your Monday and the rest of your week, Sunrisers. As you go forward into the world, remember, be good, be on purpose, spray less pesticides, and plant more flowering plants to get more pollinators up and running. Have a great day.